What up, everybody? Here to give a quick recap of last night's Love Island games. I gotta say, this cast irritates me more and more each episode. I don't know if it's just the cast, I don't know if it's the editing. I do know the producers are actually irritating me too. We'll get to that at the end. I'm sick of the crying. Now we went from Lucinda crying for 2 episodes to Sydney crying for 2 episodes. And it's fake. It's not even real on Sydney's part, in my opinion. Sydney crying that she didn't save Marvin and save Ty because of Toby, which is true. Sydney's letting Toby run her game. Sydney says she's here to win the game, but letting Toby run your game is not respectable. I don't respect it a little bit. I respect it about as much as I respect her bad plastic surgery, and that's not a whole lot. Sydney pulled Marvin, trying to cry to him because, they came in together as bombshells. But then later in the episode, Sydney was wanting brownie points from Toby for saving his bestie. So it's just another woman this season that's going to let the men run the game. Later, Justine was telling the girls that the guys were running the game and the women are moving like they don't have game. I love that Justine is here to win this season. The edit, and even she's like, I let Tyreek play me, but I don't really feel like she did. I feel like she kept Tyreek at a distance. She's still been focused at the game over everything. And like I said in the last video, Tyreek was a clown. Tyreek's the one that made an ass of himself. Tyreek making that move in a strategy game was very, very stupid. Tyreek came out of episode 10 looking very stupid. But like I said, Justine told the girls that the guys are running the game. And who goes and runs to the guys about that? Well, Lucinda, the pick-me, another one with bad plastic surgery. This is a theme I'm saying this season. If you are a very insecure person, if you're someone that came on the show having a lot of plastic surgery, the Lucindas, the Sydneys, you're going to be very insecure. You're going to be a pick-me. It's how they both came across over these past 2 episodes. Big old pick-me's. I'm so sick of Lucinda. I said this the last video. I'll say it again today. Sick of Lucinda. Everyone said she was going to be bad casting because she's boring. I wouldn't necessarily call her boring, but she's definitely bad casting. I'll tell you that much. Lucinda told Isaiah this, that Justine said the guys are running things, but she feels like the guys are loyal to her. But in a game like this, with strategy, being a pick-me doesn't work. On regular Love Island, maybe that can work more so because you have a winning vote at the end. I don't know what this season's win is going to be. I hope it's not a vote. If it's a vote, I'm never watching the show again. I can tell you that much. This will be my first time covering a Love Island game season and my last if America's voting for the winner. It's a comp game, so it better come down to some damn competitions. But if Lucinda and Sydney want to keep being pick-me's for the guys, it just means that they're going to play the guys' games. And frankly, from what we've seen at this point, Isaiah's not in that big old UK alliance. Isaiah was more connected to Kendall, although Kendall's connected to everybody. I don't really know where Isaiah stands, but if Isaiah just goes into that big UK alliance, he's just going to be at the bottom with Lucinda and Sydney because Toby, Ty, Johnny are running that shit. So Lucinda, another one that looks stupid. Tyreek tried to make things up to Justine with breakfast. Justine knows, she said this in confessional, that Ty is just trying to say what he needs to say because Ty needs her. And she's not wrong, and I'm glad Justine knows that. But Tyreek does have an alliance, but I think he's the dumbest person in that alliance, so he does kind of need Justine too. Now, I would say he's going to need her because of competitions going forward, but the way this show has no rhyme or reason, it doesn't even look like the next episode that couples matter. But we'll get to that in a second. Andreina was great in this episode, at least, even though it was her last. Andreina telling the girls that she feels stupid because Johnny has done this many times, but she came on this show not for the money, but to actually find some love. Wrong show to go on, but whatever. I'd love that Andreina had her revenge bikini out there to throw it in Johnny's face. A great bikini, I must say. Andreina later had discussions with Johnny, telling him it was personal and not game. He was trying to say it was game. He's thinking about his game. She called him out on his shit. Said she wouldn't have done that to him. Says Johnny is what everybody says he is. That he's a bad person. Loved it. Loved that Andreina pulled Gabby for a chat to say that she was upset with Johnny and not Gabby. Love that Gabby said that if he's going to be a prick, she will get rid of Johnny too. I feel like Gabby's here to play as well. I definitely liked Gabby in this episode way more than Casey. Casey's lame as shit. He looks bad and he is not funny like he thinks he is. I don't even think Nicola found him that funny. Nicola was trying to be nice in that conversation. I saw in real time looks on Nicola's face while Casey was trying to be funny. She looked like, who is this guy and why is he here? So I don't know what to make of Casey, but I think he's bad casting, and Nicola's now stuck with him. So good luck. I hope he's better at challenges than he looks. But I liked Andreina pulling Gabby for a chat and them having a good chat. And I loved later in the episode when Johnny and Andreina had another argument. Johnny said, if it's fuck me when you come back and win the challenge, fuck me. And she said, it is fuck you. So good for Andreina. I know it was her last episode, but she went out strong at least. Before we get to the duels, I just have in my notes more Tyreek and Justine stuff, more notes about Tyreek's ego and how he was just trying to get back at Justine. He knows it looks bad now. Yeah, it was pretty stupid. And then Ty and the guys are now talking about how Johnny and Gabby together are a strong couple, and Johnny's risk paid off and Tyreek's risk did not pay off. So while we have that big ass alliance forming, Tyreek and Toby are definitely going to be intimidated by Johnny and Gabby. So that alliance can only go so far. In the end, Tyreek apologized to Justine. I don't think she actually gives a shit. She says she doesn't know how they're going to get that element of trust back. I hope Justine does what she has to do to win the game. I'm rooting for Justine to win again. I want back-to-back-to-back wins for Justine, one way or another. And then lastly, we did have Garbi and Kendall trying to move on from their argument in the last episode. Outside of Justine, this is the only couple I'm rooting for. And as I've been saying the entire time, I'm rooting for them to win the game, not actually rooting for them as a couple. I don't want Garbi to be stuck to Kendall. I don't think Kendall's even going to go for Garbi outside of the show anyway. But in the game, definitely rooting for them to win as a couple. If Justine can't win, then I hope they win. America's vote was terrible per usual. Garbi and Andreina were at the bottom, which this I kind of expected. I did expect these two to get the least amount of votes of the women. The guys had me scratching my head. Like Marvin, I understand. I guess Kendall didn't get the votes because everybody was irritated with him in the last episode. How is Isaiah getting votes, though? And I say this as a Philo Pisces that usually roots for Pisces in these games. Isaiah is not giving. With him and Nicola as a couple, Nicola carried them in the entertainment. Isaiah carried them with the strategy. But overall, Isaiah's not giving anything. I know Facebook loves Andrea and Josh, so I'm not shocked that they got enough votes to stay safe this week. They're another couple that I think has a strong chance of winning, especially if it comes down to a winning vote. Really hope we don't have a vote that gives us a winner this season. That will be so irritating in a season that's already irritating. Yeah, so it was Garbi versus Andreina, Marvin versus Kendall, a blindfold challenge. I did love this challenge where everyone's blindfolded but wearing bells, so you have to hear your competitor and try and pull a bell off. It was a good duel. I enjoyed it. And both duels were very close, too. Garbi was kicking Andreina's ass at first, but Andreina came back to tie. But then Garbi won a very, very close round 5. I was happy to see Garbi win. Garbi is so competitive. I love it. And then Kendall versus Marvin was also close. They kept going back and forth, back and forth. Kendall pulling out a win in round 5. So Kendall and Garbi both win their duels. will stay together going forward. And then Johnny got called out by Marvin in the end for stepping forward when he was safe. Marvin could have been safe, and then Ty would have been safe. They all three would have been safe. So strategy wise, Johnny kind of fucked up the alliance himself. So I do think Johnny's on the outs of this alliance, which means Gabby would be too, possibly. So much for that big alliance. This is why big alliances don't work. It lasted 2 episodes. And then lastly, let's talk some shit about production like I have probably every video this season. This show has no rhyme or reason, and I'm sick of it. It's amateur. This show is amateurish. As someone that makes games on this channel, which you should go watch, I've made Survivor games online, web series Survivor games, online survival. 1, 2, 3, and 4 are on this channel. I made a Big Brother game, Little Brother on this channel. I just did a Traders game that aired a few months back that you could go watch on this channel, the Traders OCG. As someone that makes games on this channel, I would never make a game like this because it makes no sense. There's no rhyme or reason. Do the couples matter? You wouldn't know it by the next episode where it seems like there's teams and it seems like they're picking teams individually. If they're picking teams individually in this next episode, this show has no idea what it wants to be. It wants couples to be couples like it's Love Island. Couples are supposed to work together and have strategies. People are supposed to form alliances. But then we're going to have a team challenge where people are being picked individually. So why did we just have a recoupling? Why did the recoupling matter if the very next game is going to be teams where people are chosen individually? It's amateur shit. These producers are dumb in the head when it comes to reality TV these days. It's a disease.